Do you want to talk about the Manchester United side of this, or do we want to talk about Arsenal?
Let's start with the Man United side.
Okay.
Okay, and on that note, I'd like to go back to a conversation we were having a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And eat my words. Remember we were talking about Chelsea versus United and Arsenal facing them?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to go back.
Nico,
No, I'm still holding that one. I'm still holding on to that one.
Actually, I know one of the best pie makers in the city. He's going to bring out some humble pie for you. Come right out.
Yeah. No, but it's. I couldn't believe United were that lifeless. Honestly, we were having a conversation. You both are pretty.
We told you.
Both of the points we made true.
Arrogantly confident.
We told you.
But man, you can't show up like that to a game. I'm very sorry. Arsenal were at what, playing at 80%, 85%. They weren't at full throttle.
Offensively,
they weren't at full throttle.
Defensively, they were standing
defensively,
tall.
they were fantastic. But once they got that first goal, defensively they knew, all right, this is in the bag. That was way too easy for Arsenal.
Garnacho still had chances.
Yeah, I would argue that Garnacho had an opportunity. If Garnacho was clinical,
but they're not. If they were this, if they were that, if they were this, yeah, of course. If Manchester United were all these things, of course they would be better. But they're not.
Exactly. And that line had Johnny Evans, who left in 2015 because he was past it, and Casemiro, who. What? I mean, did he leave his legs in Spain? Yeah. What is going on with Casemiro?
This man
he's
is checked
cooked.
out.
And maybe he's not a center back, and I understand playing out of position, but you mentioned it, strolling, not even looking, checking for a runner.
No urgency.
There was no fear.
Lazy.
I mean, he made Trossard look like one of the best center forwards in the game.
But I just going back to that conversation, right? The argument was who's going to be easier? Who would you rather play? Chelsea. Where was the game? At Arsenal? Where you guys won 5-0?
Yeah.
Chelsea or Arsenal or United at Old
Chelsea
Trafford?
all day.
And Chelsea all day. And since then, Chelsea have gotten better. But if you take that Chelsea versus this Manchester United, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just it's easy cake for Arsenal.
Easy cake.
Yeah, it's just it.
Never heard that phrase before.
I don't know. I made it up right now.
Piece of cake, easy cake. It goes.
It was a walkover. I was expecting a little bit more of Manchester United, and that's why I was so flabbergasted that you guys were arrogant. But I guess
you also backed Ten Hag to be the next great manager.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Didn't you say he also deserves Manager of the Year because his team is still?
But this goes back. This goes back to Liverpool. When you look at Arne Slot and you say, how do you think that Arne Slot is going to have any type of drastic difference in Ten Hag? If Ten Hag was far ahead of where Arne Slot is now. If you have a blueprint of Dutch managers right now, and you're saying, all right, coming from this step.
This doesn't make me feel good.
That's unfair, though.
No, it's not.
That is wildly
Why?
unfair.
It's not. You're because of a nationality? You're judging somebody based out of a nationality?
Based on the league, where they come from, the mentality, the level of players that they're coaching. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to tell me you're going to take one of the biggest clubs in the world and coach egos? And you're expected to do what?
Similarly, you could say the same thing for like a Gasperini or Roberto De Zerbi, who's at Sassuolo and Atalanta.
We're talking about recent signings. Ten Hag to United.
We gotta take a
and he's
chance
playing
on
in
somebody.
Champions League.
Right.
Versus Arne Slot, who's taking over a Liverpool side.
Listen, I'm willing to
that
give
has
anyone the
Champions
benefit
League
of the doubt here.
aspirations. That is a top club.
We'll wait and see.
You can't just deduce everyone that manages in the Eredivisie down to, well, Erik ten Hag didn't work, so they won't work.
I don't know.
We're talking about levels.
Yeah, but then using that argument, it's like you shouldn't take a gamble on anybody.
That's not true at all.
Well, I don't know. This was not
a weird conversation.
If we're talking about a manager who has had experience in the Prem, maybe an assistant manager who's worked under one of the best managers in the league, then you say, okay, I'm willing to take a chance because he knows what it means to deal with certain personalities and egos versus a Feyenoord. That's my point.
I don't know.
If you're looking at a blueprint of a manager who was given the crown as the next big manager coming out of the Dutch league, look what he's done at Manchester United. Look what he did, how he handled Cristiano Ronaldo. He can't handle egos and personalities, and that's been
well, and I think that's a
thing.
Ten Hag problem. I wouldn't necessarily
It's a Dutch manager
make that,
problem.
a Dutch manager
I say we
problem.
clip this
But that's
to see what happens next year.
Well, at any rate, it was the 9th loss at home for Manchester United. They are in 8th right now. That would be their worst finish ever in the Premier League. And
That's the worst since 1973 and 1974.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened to them that season?
What happened?
They got relegated.
So?
Well,
No bueno.
Tough.
Who's going to take over United next?
It's going to be Tuchel.
Is it?
That's the hot goss.
I mean, I don't know.
Southgate, Tuchel.
I've heard
Potter.
Southgate. Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly,
Potter
like
just
I
turned
don't
down a
know.
gig.
I just don't know if was it
it Potter
Ajax?
what?
Potter just turned down, I believe it was
Ajax.
Ajax.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Potter.
I don't know. I don't
his
know.
second
I
turn
just that is a project,
Taking the money.
and I don't know that it's one that I
Needs
would want
structure.
to touch.
And you would imagine
at this
that
point.
next year, with Ineos fully involved,
Yeah.
All right.
there's going to be more structure in place for somebody to succeed.
Now let's talk about Arsenal.
Okay.
Real quick though, whoever gets the Manchester United job, bring an umbrella, because that stadium is
Yeah, those
falling
things were
apart.
nuts.
bro.
It's Manchester United is like the Titanic in so many ways.
Oh, no.
No, really, the stadium was like the perfect visual representation.
Nastri just yelled, "My heart
Yeah.
will go on." Oh. I think I just heard that.
Hey, clip that social too.
I tweeted it.
I'll never let go.
I tweeted it.
Oh my God. All right. Well, okay. Let's talk about Arsenal then.
Look at this.
Oh my God, you guys. That
The
is
theater
bad.
of dreams,
That's really bad.
It's a sinking ship. Is it not?
bro.
Oh, there was
Hail.
hail. I didn't see that.
I'm saying though, your roof got to hold
I
up.
mean, it was torrential
was
to
the
be
hail
fair,
end.
but that's
Did you see the other
That's
thing
a
was
problem.
that
That's a
good bit.
there was
This is good too.
thunder and lightning with 2 minutes left on added time.
Yeah.
Had that been in the United States, we would be waiting 30 minutes to
know,
play those
exactly.
2 extra minutes of added time.
lightning break.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
I've said it for the last 3 years. That's going to be an issue at the World Cup.
100%.
That's going to be an issue at the World Cup.
Absolutely. In the summer? Oh yeah. Absolutely.
With simultaneous group stage games, one in Texas, the other one in California, and one gets suspended in.
Oh, did you forget about the World Cup in '94?
Was there lightning delays? Yeah, but that wasn't in place.
No issues.
A lot has changed weather-wise since 1994.
All right.
Oh, I've missed you, Chuck. Okay, so how about Arsenal? Okay, they're now sitting on top of the table, but Manchester City have that game in hand. It's going to come down now to the last match of the season. I just want to take the temperature of the Arsenal fan sitting at the other side of the desk right now. Emotionally, guys, where are you at right now?
I'll say I'm hopeful,
Okay,
but I don't anticipate Manchester City slipping up.
okay.
Now, I look at the season as a whole, and I'm proud of this Arsenal side because they've grown. There's no capitulation. They didn't buckle under the pressure. They pushed Man City to the end.
This is the most wins in an Arsenal campaign.
Yes.
in the Premier
27.
League.
27.
A phenomenal season, and it would be hard to top last season in terms of the Premier League pushing Manchester City, and then you fell off, didn't have the depth. But to do it again and be even better, I mean, that's what Manchester City did for Liverpool, pushing them
Right,
to
exactly.
the
in
to
that
the brink
season,
of-
in that
at the end of
season
the
where you
season.
would have grabbed Liverpool's points total when they went toe-to-toe for City and
Yep.
didn't win, it would have been enough points to win, the last 10 or so Premier Leagues. It feels like it's such a bitter feeling. Yes, because Arsenal have been better. They've improved. Arsenal are a sensational football team. But football is so cruel because they won't have any silverware to show for this extraordinary season. And that's what Manchester City forces out of so many teams. It forces it out of Liverpool for so long. You need to come back next season and be even better. You need to, and it's
you know what?
so difficult to sustain that over
I
a
have
long period of
confidence that
time.
they will. And the reason I'm saying that is because even looking at a win like at Old Trafford, a few years ago, pre-Arteta, the rub against Arsenal is that we don't have a strong spine, and Arsenal tends to capitulate when the pressure gets on. Butter and sun, just like strictly starting to melt, and there's no strength. That part of Arsenal is gone now. The progress that we've seen from when Mikel Arteta took over to where we are now, a complete turnover of the front office, a complete turnover of the staff. Everyone seems to care about what's happening for the badge and the club. The stadium has an atmosphere that I don't ever remember seeing in the time before I went. The vibes are all heading in the right direction, and there's still levels. Arsenal needs to play better in Champions League.
They have a
Arsenal
young
needs
squad still.
Arsenal doesn't have a true number 9. Arsenal doesn't even really have a center forward. Kai Havertz has turned into an incredible player in that position, but probably not the player that Mikel Arteta would want to have there had he had his choice. Gabriel Jesus, some of these players are going to start to make their way out of the club. club. It feels like the club is heading in the right direction. The big.
Timber as well.
Yeah, Timber. Urian Timber's going to come back at the beginning of the season. It's going to feel like a new signing. The big downfall or the big rub against the season right now is that there is no trophy to show for it. But if you're asking an Arsenal fan, like I am, and like Charlie is, the progress that we've shown is incredible.
Yeah.
86 points, potential to finish at 89 points. I mean, scored the most goals of anyone in the Premier League so far. Have given up the least amount of goals, the most clean sheets of anyone in the Premier League. At the end of the day, we're saying it shouldn't have to be a perfect end of the calendar year to win a Premier League season. Manchester City will keep you having to be perfect in order to win.
And Bayern
we
Munich
don't have
proved
that.
to be a really tough opponent as well. I mean, taking Real Madrid to the end. So, I mean, if it would have been great to get to a Champions League semifinal, but in the end, you say, hey, actually.
Are you boys ready to be
had
Tottenham
a
fans
good season.
tomorrow?
Would you shave your head for Tottenham to tie City? Shave your head and Tottenham tie City.
You know what? I'll shave my back.
No. You should be doing that anyway. We should be waxing. No.
You know what?
Once again.
I'll do it in your bathroom when you're not home, and I'll leave the evidence
Did
there.
not need that
Would you drink out of his
visual on a
shoe?
Monday morning.
Would you drink out of his shoe?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, guys.